Hello there, I'm Rob Elson, the Server and Workstation Product Manager of Stone. The topic that I'm going to be discussing today is one of data-intensive businesses that are increasingly thriving in today's environment, often experiencing growth or change at speed. It's clear to see that data centers must start moving with the business as it grows. To that end, technologies such as 40 gig and faster Ethernet and multi-core servers are chasing latency out of data centers. One of the easiest targets for latency removal is the spinning platters of a server's direct attached storage, its hard drives. Faster and more reliable solid-state drives, or SSDs, are quickly replacing traditional hard drives in order to garner more performance in servers. This is measured in I/O, operations per second, otherwise known as IOPS, which we'll come back to shortly. Whilst it's becoming more common knowledge that using SSDs instead of hard drives in any server platform can improve application performance, the potential gains that you can experience are even more dramatic with SSDs connected directly to your server's PCIe bus via NVMe, which is non-volatile memory express. NVMe is basically a standard storage protocol aimed at bringing your storage I/O closer to the system processor for both faster IOPS performance and lower average latency. With the broadening use of NVMe SSDs, including those supporting hot swap and hot add for real-time replacement and real-time expansion, your IT team can now have access to low latency, high IOPS, expandable capacity and familiar supportability to better enable applications, users and management demand. The clear message I'm conveying here is that if high IOPS, performance and low average latency are some of the key drivers for your storage upgrade path, then NVMe SSDs may be a great option for your organization. What I'm going to do now for you is briefly go deeper into the SSD landscape, as well as highlighting the performance, energy efficiency and overall savings that you can expect through upgrading to an NVMe SSD structure. For those of you who aren't fully familiar with the current SSD lineup, there are three host drive interfaces. These are SATA, SAS and PCIe. SATA and SAS-based SSDs require a host bus adapter or HBA integrated into the chipset on the main server board, or even as an expansion card in a PCIe slot. The host operating system controls these SATA or SAS HBAs and facilitates communications with the rest of the computing architecture. One thing to note here is that all of these drive types offer significantly better IOPS performance when stacked up against legacy hard drives, but their performance may be limited by external factors, such as your operating system, particular driver stack, or even a poor efficiency caused by protocol conversions. Note that these protocol conversions are necessary for SATA and SAS to get the data from the host system to the storage devices and back again. This is where NVMe SSDs are able to home in their advantage. NVMe SSDs enable much faster IOPS because they are not subject to the same extensive protocol conversions and OS driver stacks that SATA and SAS SSDs and their HBAs require. Couple this more direct connection with the protocol advantages NVMe can bring, and we start seeing tremendous boosts in IOPS performance. This figure kindly provided by Micron shows a brilliant example of what we're discussing here. The graphic is showing a 4 kilobit random read IOPS among three high-performance Micron SSDs along with the performance SAS hard drive. This clearly shows us three things. The PCIe NVMe SSD is the 4K random read IOPS performance leader with 700,000 IOPS. The SAS and SATA SSDs are second and third with 190,000 and 93,000 respectively. The SAS hard drive measures so low that it is hard to see, measuring just 509 IOPS. This raw speed advantage can translate to noticeable performance gains in I/O-intensive workloads that require fast responses, such as those running on cloud and data center servers, video on demand, and virtualization applications, among others. While PCIe NVMe SSDs show much faster read IOPS than other types of SSDs, and not to forget that their read IOPS are orders of magnitude faster than hard drives, their superior speed alone may not be enough of a reason to switch. Eye-popping IOPS will not help if serviceability suffers. IT simply can't afford to take servers offline to replace drives or increase capacity. In these cases, reliability, availability, and serviceability, also known as RAS, should also figure prominently. That means choosing SSDs that offer superior performance, are hot swappable, and easily accessible. IT can then avoid having to shut down a server and open the chassis to add capacity or replace a drive. NVMe SSDs support these capabilities as the 2.5-inch PCIe SSD form factor, also called U.2, gains popularity. IT enjoys the same flexibility that SAS and SATA SSDs have enjoyed for the generations, but with all the advantages of NVMe. Features like hot swap and hot add for replacement and capacity expansion without having to take the server offline are now part of the PCIe NVMe SSD landscape. NVMe SSDs can clock in at 700,000 random 4K read IOPS, as reflected in Figure 1. With the growing number of servers capable of keeping these NVMe SSDs busy with demanding workloads, which would include high core counts and greater memory density, application performance and throughput can quickly and easily be increased by replacing hard drives with much faster NVMe SSDs. For example, a virtual desktop image store that serves a large number of virtual desktop users has to support a phenomenal number of small random IOPS. VDI is pretty typical of this, with a random I/O profile that's very heavily read focused. Energy consumption is another important consideration when choosing a drive type. NVMe SSDs draw an energy load of 25 watts compared to about 7.2 watts for an equivalent 15K HDD10. However, one NVMe SSD can potentially replace many hard drives, again referring to Figure 1 as one example. If we again consider a virtual desktop image server equipped with 25 hard drives, those drives would draw about 180 watts on average. If the array were larger, say 50 drives, it would draw approximately 360 watts. If larger still, 100 drives, the power requirement is even greater at about 720 watts. Thus, the NVMe SSD has the potential to result in a significant reduction in energy use for that storage platform. In addition to breakthrough performance, PCIe NVMe SSDs provide more useful work per dollar spent. Because of this, PCIe NVMe SSDs save money despite the comparatively high initial acquisition cost. When performance is the primary driver, the metric to consider should be cost per IOPS. This metric shows the value that SSDs deliver when they are doing what they do best, quickly storing and delivering data to applications. That is why the initial investment can be misleading, because cost per gigabyte does not factor in performance advantages. Figure 3 shows a relative IOPS per pound comparison for the same 4 example drives, that's 3 SSDs and 1 hard drive, and a 4K 100% read IOP, as might be seen in a virtual desktop image store. Finally, thank you for your valuable time. I truly hope you found this information both interesting and indeed thought-provoking. The Micron 9300 series NVMe SSDs are available on the Stone website. If you have any queries or questions, please feel free to contact myself. That's Rob Elson, the Server and Workstation Product Manager here at Stone, or indeed my assistant, Will Baskerfield. Feel free to further explore the blog link as follows, and all the very best. See you soon now. Bye bye.